Guys, it is just about 10 o'clock p.m. and I did a lot of reading today. I finished off basically the series I was reading. Kind of sad about it, but also like, you know, it is what it is. I get to read another series, so um I've kind of been I haven't done much aside from I took out the garbage and did a few like just stuff around, but I haven't done too much. Uh I finally caught back up with my what's it called? The like there was like eight uh thumbnails that I hadn't done. And then I realized I was like, "Oh, wow." Apparently because I'm so far ahead time-wise of where I was living, the time I scheduled for it to show up and to be posted means that the time here is the next day. so um so it kind of screws up, like I couldn't remember if yesterday, like I wasn't sure if I was double posting or skipping a day or whatever, so I counted how many days I would be ahead, and I was like, I'm not 8 days ahead, I'm 7 days ahead. So that means that I needed to post yesterday's, well, I say yesterday, last week's should have been posted in the morning, but I thought I had that covered, and it was the whole thing. So anyway, uh, so I was slightly off there, but anyway, so I'm back to like having everything scheduled for a week in advance. And it really, it just took me like 15, 20 minutes to do it. It wasn't like, didn't take too long. So, you know, I think the main thing is like, as long as I get this, um, I keep like thinking it's transcoded, but it's not. That's not what it is. Compile. It's not even compiled. Whatever. Getting it rendered. There we go. Getting it rendered and then uploaded the same day means that the bulk of the work is already done. And so all that's really left is to do the description, get all the settings right, and then put a thumbnail. So, which again, it doesn't take too long to do it. It's just like, it's annoying little busy work for like, it's not even annoying. It's like, it's funny to think of like weird thumbnails and just like, I don't know, just do really stupid poses and think it's funny. So, yeah. But anyway, so I did that. Also, I did figure out the next place I'm going to be going to, which is Milan. Um, Specifically, it's okay. Phone. What the fuck? Oh, oh my god. Fuck off. Okay. I have to check in, but there's this there's this giant tower. Here, I'm trying to go to it. Yeah, so it's in Milan. I'm not going to give you the exact address, but basically it's like, I'll give you a general idea of where it is. Bro, why is it not letting me do? There we go. This is what I want. Okay. Okay, so it's like um it's kind of close to there's like a big like train track area. I guess okay, if I look on the map, Milan has the like center area being like a ring and then it spreads out. I'm on like the northern part of the inner ring, like on one of the more main streets. Um it's kind of right near like one of the highways that go into this like clusterfuck. But anyway, main thing is I'm close-ish to so like what is this? Where's the train station? Okay, well I'm kind of close to the train station. Um, don't know where the actual train lets out, but regardless, like I have like buses near me and like it should be relatively easy for me to get there is what I'm kind of trying to get at. I might have to take a few buses, but like here, I can do directions. Um okay, so huh. I mean, it's going to take about 8 hours to get there. I think I use a lot of buses. Yeah, like I use like the Ita bus, Flixbus, Mario bus. I think there has to be like a train that I can get to the general area faster than the buses. So, uh, anyway, point is, I'm just like staring at my phone while I'm talking to you guys. The point is, I have the next route, and it's booked for 2 weeks. Um, and then I think I'm also going to look for the following route from Milan to um, like Switzerland. I don't know where in Switzerland, but maybe like southern Switzerland or something, like the southern area. And then from there go to France. So I think that's the plan. Um, so yeah, I have some basic outlines for. I've been kind of like I've been thinking about like what content I can make that I want to be making, and it kind of comes down to a few different things. There's the teaching stuff. There's me doing the daily uploads. That's not going to change. That's just kind of like melded in. I really like this. Um, So yeah, for the foreseeable future, you're gonna see my face every day. Sorry, but uh, yeah, you know, obviously it changes on how often, or I mean, how long I'm talking, but um, so there's the teaching content, there's this, there's the book, and then there's the game. The game has been sitting in the background for a while, kind of stewing about like how I'm really gonna like tackle it because I've made a lot of systems in the past and I've done lots of reworks and like I'm thinking about maybe going with something really simple that can just be a whole game by itself and just having it out there and then kind of expanding from there and doing the classic patches and stuff like that. But the ambitions for the game are very high. But it's kind of like I know it's going to take a while to get there. Um, okay, that was really weird. Anyway, yeah. So I think. Oh, and kind of the main thing. Um, all of the projects are different branches of the same core concept, which is effectively teaching through different methods how to kind of improve yourself in your own way. Um, and I think it's also important to remember that there's an ebb and flow to improvement. And so you don't have to get super bogged down on, you don't need to be constantly improving. That's not like sustainable. That's not how like life works. It's more like the tide, where you make some progress, you walk back a little bit, you make a little more progress, you walk back a little bit, and you know, you don't just see one relentless upswing in tide. It's a series of small steps of each wave that eventually brings the tide in. Um, so that's kind of at its core. Um, I want to give people tools and then kind of through the different mediums, um, via directly teaching, again, doing the one to one, and then doing like, what's it called? Like the book, um, because different people learn differently. And so my thought is if I have one unifying kind of universe across all of these mediums where there's a cohesive whole to it, then regardless of which medium you kind of interact with, in whatever form makes sense for you, um, you'll learn something. So that's my thought. Because I've thought about like an example with like games. Um, it's obvious that in the past companies have tried to like use games as like school teaching methods and stuff like that. It hasn't really ever worked out super well because the core essence of what makes games entertaining is like the core gameplay loop. And if the core gameplay loop is centered around like learning words or doing math problems, it's kind of like it's like like there's a line where it stops being a game and it starts being homework. Um, so yeah, it's not to say that games haven't kind of blended it well, but even then, it's like do I want to do a spelling game where I'm shooting people, or do I want to play like a really matured like shooting system game instead? Um, so yeah, uh, but I want, obviously, with the game, the novel, and the teaching, it's all like my goal is not to like get people to think a specific way. It's to give them a toolbox. That's it. I'm not telling you how you're supposed to use the toolbox. The goal is to just know that there is a toolbox that you can use, and you don't have to just use a hammer for everything. Um, because I think some people just like some parts of what I'm teaching, just like they're not interested, or it flies over their head, or they dislike it, or they disagree, or whatever it is, and that's fine. Um, so that's why I think making the novel and the game and all of that other stuff, um, in a manner where it's something I'd actually want to play, and then attaching to the lore and the background of the game are some concepts that can be applied in real life. That's kind of the goal. Make the game fun, enjoyable, a real living, breathing universe, blah, blah, blah. All the fucking buzzwords you want to say about stuff that people make, you know. But like, at the end of the day, I'm making a game. So it's going to be a fun game. And all the mechanics are centered around being a fun game. I'm not making a teaching tool that happens to be a game. So I think that's the difference. Is I genuinely just want to have like a really cool game. And then if you just happen to learn some like lore that you think is like, oh, this is really cool, maybe you like develop a tool that you can put in the toolbox. And if you don't and you skip it, that's totally fine. Like, I think regardless, the concept for the game is really cool, and I want to play it. So yeah. Um, uh, Aside from that, there's same thing with the book. Like, the book is a fantasy book first and foremost. There's going to be lore that talks about different systems and ways of doing things, but like, yeah, you can apply some of the core concepts, but that's not the focus. The focus is still cool wizard badassery, uh, and star systems, and cosmic craziness, and yeah, I don't know. So yeah. But I don't know. I think yeah, I'm gonna try to figure out this week what the kind of hmm like what seems like a reasonable um a reasonable like workflow for all these things. Because originally I was like, okay, I threw in the novel stuff and I've been writing. I haven't written in like 2 or 3 days, but like, the writing stuff. The first test last week, it was it was pretty good, but it still felt like it was missing some stuff. And it's like, yeah, of course, it's missing like the video game stuff and um, the teaching stuff. So I don't know the breakdown on how I want to be doing all the individual stuff. Um, but I feel like I should be on like an average week. I should definitely get several chapters written throughout the week, some progress on the game, and then like a video or two on the teaching stuff. So it's like I want to be consistent, but I don't want to like burn myself out or make it feel super like um tough. I don't want to overwork or anything. So finding that right balance. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. So I'm gonna do a few tests this week to see what feels good, what doesn't. Um, so I'll keep you posted on that. Also, I want to make sure. So Friday is the last day. Today's Monday. Technically Monday's over, so it's really I have Tuesday. I have 4 days. Um, so one of those days is going to be going to the Vatican. I said I would. I said I would, so I'm going to make sure to go. And then I think I'm going to do maybe like one more day walking around. So maybe okay. Tomorrow and Thursday will be the 2 days that I do something. Whether it be one day is going to be walking around here again, and then the other day is going to be going to the Vatican. So I'll have like 4 solid walkarounds of like places um while I've been here that I filmed, because I've done more than just um the 4 film days, but I kind of want to have like good footage of different areas. And yeah, so, and that's more like I'm not super interested in it. It's just more of like I think it's going to be helpful to push myself a little bit, to be out of my comfort zone and to go out and do things. Um and yeah, so I think that's my plan for that. And then the other 2 days are just going to be vibing. Um and trying different like morning routines. So I think if I do that for the next 4 days, that should be good. And then obviously on Friday, aside from like the morning routine, figuring it out, I also want to make sure I'm packed so I can leave by 10. Is checkout in the morning is 10 on Saturday. So I gotta check to make sure that's true. I'm pretty sure that's true. Um, yeah, it's to the 15th. Check out Saturday the 15th before 10 a.m. Yeah. And there's instructions. Place the towels on the bed. Turn things off. Return keys. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. I gotta make sure also that yeah, I have to make sure that tomorrow, um, in the morning, I like do the check-in thing for Milan because there's you have to do the like the form, the internet like check-in form thing. So yeah, um, so I have to do that. But I don't know. Overall, like everything seems to be going really well. You know, I think that I've learned a lot. There was a lot of like little struggles that I kind of went through. Um, but I think I am kind of cracking open and understanding that I can go pretty much anywhere and function. Basically, I have a laptop. So as long as I have a laptop and my film equipment, I'm pretty much good to just do whatever, wherever. Um, in terms of the significant other, I think, I mean, obviously, I'm open, like, to the significant other, like, showing up and interacting with me and whatever, right? So, like, yeah, like, I think I'm not going to worry about the when or the where of that interaction. Instead, I'm just going to do my thing and you know, this really is like I don't need saving. And I think that's been kind of the struggle that I've had. And it's not like I've been waiting for someone to save me. It's more like you know, in the long term, it's like I don't want to be just alone doing whatever. I think having a long-term partner that's willing and interested to like go and do stuff together, that gives more meaning to the things. So it's like I feel like being here and seeing the joy of a partner would make this experience so much more exciting and enjoyable. And that's kind of like that's the thing that I desire. Um, it's like that mutual like you know I have my stuff that I'm working on, the you know doing the filming and you know helping doing the teaching stuff and then like the book and then the game stuff, and I'm doing all of that, and then she has her own like her own stuff that she's doing, but we're like progressing together and doing stuff together, and yeah, like you know obviously we have our own like time to spend doing our own thing, but coming together and like enjoying going places and seeing cool things and experiencing, whatever we decide we want to go and experience. um that's the kind of stuff that I envision. um and I think whenever that person does show up, we'll definitely be able to help each other, um in our own way, like propel ourselves forward and learn new things. And I don't know, just like I think I still think it'll be very obvious when we do interact. So, yeah, it's tough because there's definitely part of me that always kind of is questioning like myself in general. Like, are you sure you felt what you felt? Are you sure that things are happening the way they're going to happen? And I don't know, I'm just kind of tired of like doubting. And um so I'm just gonna let go of the whole thing and focus up on the stuff that I'm working on. And that's it. I'm going to focus up. I'm going to, you know, try to be social and push myself to be a little more social with each area. And then, have that like balance of going out and like, I don't know, just existing in a place, seeing a few people, meeting some people, and not worrying about the outcome. Because worrying about the outcome just makes me doubt myself. Um, so yeah, like obviously the point is to not worry about it and to let things just happen in divine timing. So it's like, okay, you got it. So yeah. Um I don't really know about Milan that much. One of the roommates was talking about how Milan's kind of like a blah city to visit, and it's very much like more for like shopping, which is fine. Um, we'll just see. We'll see what happens. Um, but yeah, I really I'm letting go. I feel clearer on like the things I want to have happen. And so yeah, I'm just gonna do it. Oh, right. I kind of want to tie everything together with a website. Um, I have no idea how to make a website. I know a little web scripts, but we'll see. I kind of was thinking it would be cool to have like an interactive little like map that because so the thing is I want to tie the game, the book, and my worldview all together. Um, and so I was thinking it would be cool to have kind of like some sort of interactive map on the website um, that has some like lore and some other stuff that both applies to like the novel and also applies to the game. So yeah, I don't know. I think that would be cool. So we will see what what will happen. But yeah, don't really have any specifics yet. Uh, I don't know. I'm not gonna worry about it. I'm just gonna start doing. So that's the main thing. Is like just I don't know. Like so there's this thing that I or this quote that someone said in the novel I was reading. This is, by the way, this is why I know that like people who read novels, they can totally learn things um, about themselves or internal or all that stuff because I do it all the time. So like I know I'm not the only one who can do this. Um, but in the novel, there was this kind of moment where the main character is learning about fate and how to like read the fate lines and all of this stuff. And he used the fate guidance to go to like the most helpful outcome for him. And so he used it and he went with the fate lines to a specific place. He got a really helpful, beneficial outcome. And then at the end, he remembered one of the most important um, rules that the wizard civilization in this novel has regarding fate. You shouldn't use fate very often to get desired outcomes because then the fate begins to control you. And I thought that was a very interesting kind of thing that similarly kind of applies to like divine guidance. And I know this sounds weird. Um, it's like with all things, there's like a balance. Listening to your guides to get some helpful advice, to get, and kind of like understanding some broad strokes of like where you go is really helpful. Um, and, but at the same time, if you make that your whole life, where all you're doing is you meditate every day and you ask, you're like, okay, spirit guides, what am I going to do today? And then you do like 10 tarot readings and then you like hire like 5 different coaches to tell you things and then you do all this stuff and you do that every day. What ends up happening is that becomes your life. And this is where you need to be very careful about how much you consume of anything, really. But like when it comes to spirituality, it's a similar thing where it's not that the individual guidance isn't helpful, but we're here to do at the end of the day, and we do have free will. And so I think it's important to remember that there's always a choice. If here's an example. You listen to your guides point you to a direction, and you're like, this is like a divine purpose path. And if you want to go walk down that path, it's there for you. You just kind of listen to your intuition and you go down that path. But it's your choice to go down that path. It's going to be super fulfilling. It's going to be really helpful. It's going to be maybe hard because you're going to be like doing things that maybe start you out outside your comfort zone, but the end result might feel really nice and effortless and whatever, right? But at the end of the day, if you don't want to go down that path, you don't have to. And so, it's, again, you have free will. You have total autonomy over your life. And that includes divine guidance. It's just that it is guidance. It is not law. It's not divine law. It's not divine railroading. It is, hey, if you do this, you're going to have some really helpful things happen to you, or good outcomes, or whatever, right? It's not even really about that. It's about the intuition that you have internally, kind of letting it be a beacon to kind of shine the way. You can choose not to listen. You may feel a lot of disharmony by doing that, but you can. And then you can also eventually, like, you go down the path, maybe you find a really nice rest stop. It's beautiful, the scenery's nice, and you just decide, you know what, I think in this life I'm done with walking the golden path, or whatever the path that you're walking. I'm going to just sit at this beautiful rest stop, and I'll pick it up on the next life. And maybe that's it. And that's okay. So yeah, I think doing a balance. You've noticed a lot of this is around balance and about the flow. I think about the ocean, using the ocean as like the tide and all of the different intricacies of the ocean. I like using those metaphors for like progress and all of this stuff. I don't know. Water just seems really like connected to me. So, makes sense. But I don't know. I think just doing my thing and allowing. Because you can't miss or dodge your kind of harvests. You've planted the seeds a long time ago. You've done the manifestations, you've done all of that stuff. And it's like, it may not show up in the way you expect, and it may not show up in the timing you want it to be, but it's not avoidable. You can't avoid it once you've done all the work on it. It will show up. So it's kind of like, you're just along for the ride at that point. Um, so, and to be fair, we generally speaking, it's like, why would we want to avoid the like good things coming to us? The things that we've manifested. Why would we want to avoid that? It's the things that we're desiring. So, it makes no sense to try and avoid it. So, it's a good thing that it shows up. But yeah, so I'm gonna go. Have a good night, man. I can't believe I talked for 45 minutes. That was like, I thought it was gonna be like 5 minutes. Yeah, well, again, it's so funny. I never plan any of the stuff I'm gonna talk about. Maybe sometimes I have like more to say where I'm like, oh, I really want to talk about some stuff, but that's more of like preamble. It always just, it'll just flow into who knows what. So I don't know. I kind of view all of the documenting stuff as like one big tapestry that I'm weaving. And for the people that are like watching all the individual episodes, um, I'm hoping that they can see the tapestry being woven over time. And for the newer people that are watching, it's like, hey, maybe go back and check. You don't have to watch every episode, but you know, check out a few of the stuff in the past just to see like, okay, what's going on here? What does the overall tapestry even look like? Um, but yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna go. Have a good night. Bye.